Welcome back, everybody. Today's video is going to be about one of my favorite heroes and successful heroes in 7.35D so far. I'm going to give you guys another sales pitch of exactly why I like this hero, what this hero offers, when you can look to pick it, and overall, some of you are going to hate me for today's video because I am going to be advocating for mid Sniper. Now, Sniper's always been one of my favorite heroes. He's also what I believe to be one of the funnest heroes in Dota. And today we're going to be talking about what actually makes him good this patch and why I think some people are playing him incorrectly, things to be looking out for. He's got a little versatility, and we're going to go ahead and get started. So first and foremost, we're going to talk a little bit about the terrain of mid lane. The thing about mid lane is that Radiant's terrain is different than Dire's terrain. Now, this may not seem like much to you guys. This may be something you know, but you've never thought about. Maybe you've literally written a dissertation on it. But the reason why I'm mentioning this is it's much more difficult to flank behind Radiant mid because of this Watcher here and like this weird path. And if they come from here, you can retreat to the Watcher if you're Radiant. If they come from here, you have the Watcher. Compared to Dire, where there's a lot of flank paths, it's all on the low ground, and there's a ward they can place here to find you hiding in the trees. There's no such ward to be placed on Radiant. So first and foremost, I think Sniper mid is way better on Radiant than it is on Dire, because part of what Sniper does is he's a turtler. You guys know that at 40 minutes plus, but he's the same thing in the laning phase. If you have a tough time getting on top of this guy, I know you guys like getting on top of guys. So Sniper on Radiant, much more difficult to get on top of, and because of all the difficulty of these flank paths. So another thing to note is the position of the large camp is much closer to the lane than it is on Dire. And we're going to be seeing how that plays out in some of the future replays. So for today, I've got two replays for you guys, selling you on what makes Sniper good, when to pick him, talking about some item builds, and what to look out for in the laning stage, as well as you scale into the game. Sniper is all about dominating these low armor ranged heroes. Puck absolutely gets dumpstered by Sniper. Sniper's been picked in competitive Dota to counter Puck, so if you're seeing Puck in your games, boom, this is great. Keep in mind that this is no chump change kind of reject pub. I've got Save on my team, I've got Whisper on my team, Yuragi, Celery, Arteezy on the other team. So this is a pretty high MMR game. I'm actually a scrub in this game, playing against Yuragi, Puck mid. And so what you're going to see about Sniper against these low armor ranged heroes is you just peep them, baby. Just freaking peep them. And so what you can do on top of this is I like to place my ward the second the lane starts so that it doesn't get dewarded. And in my experience, if the opponent actually tries to deward this at any point, Sniper can easily deny it because of his instant attack long range. And you can also punish them a lot of time. It's difficult for them to walk on your hill because you threaten them so much. So he's a hero that can protect his ward, and he can also insta-deny it. So I like to place it right when the lane starts so that none of the supports take care of it pregame. Don't give them a chance to deward. And so you're seeing how much we've peeped this guy so far. And we're going to start with Headshot for the peeping. Once we get level 2, I love to use my active when I can get a deny like you saw there and harass at the same time. That's what the peeping is for. Notice how I'm prioritizing peeping over getting last hits. It's like last hits are great. I want the last hits, but I'm going to prioritize zoning them away from the creep wave because Sniper's low damage means that he's better off not being contested for the CS than, you know, trying to out-time them. So notice how the zoning happens between every CS that I possibly can, positioning so that the orb doesn't hit me. So Sniper, since he's such high range, can get pretty creative with his positioning in lane, right? It allows it so that based on what their nukes are, based on what their last hitting spells are, you can dodge them pretty reliably, consistently using your third spell off cooldown in order to get denies and potentially harass. But the deny portion of it's fantastic, or securing range creeps for CS. Notice how I'm not really letting him enter the lane. And we're going to go for the 0-2-2 build. That's the build I like to go when you're against these low armor ranged heroes, because it's essential to outranging them. And the second point in Headshot, you go from 20 to 50 damage. So it's pretty sizable damage increase. But in the past, we've been seeing a lot of like 0-4-4 or like some lane all-in build. The big thing that snipers are doing nowadays is they're going back for maxing the shrapnel. That's going to allow them to sometimes stack the big camp on Radiant and also just take stacks if your supports make them, which I have Save on position 4 Rubik, so he's going to make a ton of stacks in the triangle. And so we're going to start seeing how this shrapnel is going to come into play. As if you look at the CS for this game, it's going to be 25 and 15 to 9 and 2 of the puck. So we're kind of dumpstering this guy. That's exactly what Sniper's meant to do against these low armor ranged heroes. Notice my items: double Wraithband, stick, you know, raindrops for some mana and effectively sustain. You might need to fly yourself an extra set of tangos if you're in a closer matchup. And I don't really need boots against these range guys because it's all about out-hitting them. So one thing to keep in mind that I like using the shrapnel for, which I actually forgot to use here, is if I'm not using it to dominate the lane just yet and I have full charges, I'll use it on the big camp at 453, which is so convenient on Radiant, to stack it. I honestly should have done it here. I just forgot because I was so consumed in how ownage I was. No, okay, guys, I'm kidding. I don't have that much of an ego problem. So, notice how mid lane is going fantastically for us. This is something that Sniper can do against pretty much any low armor ranged hero, or just ranged heroes in general that aren't like Storm Spirit, you know, that close the gap on you later. And so controlling the mid lane vision, absolutely essential. We're going to shower this guy with some shrapnels. I didn't level ulti because I'm against Puck. Not really a reliable target to ulti. So once you get this early lane advantage, the second point in your passive, your take aim, lets you hit tower from outside of range, as you can see. And constantly applying pressure to the tower is what Sniper does best. Oftentimes, Sniper's super annoying to lane against, so a lot of times the enemy mid, even if it's closer, will look to make moves on the map. You're going to see that in the next game. And so it's so important that you just keep hitting this tower, making them come back, basically countering their rotations or their ability to rotate by forcing them to come defend their tower. We're going to go pure tank early game because Sniper's abilities actually do a ton of damage, and the one thing we want to make sure doesn't happen is that we're super squishy. That's what we need to avoid, because Sniper, like I said, he's super annoying. He's going to kill your tower. He denies in front of your face, just like you're seeing. And so as long as we're alive, Sniper feels really powerful. You do have to be a bit wary of these side lanes getting kind of owned. In the meantime, only TP if it looks like there's some serious turn potential, or only really go there if you have like a DD or a haste, like some very impactful rune. And so we're seeing this maxed out shrapnel build come into play for these camps. Like, it's just giving me something to do between pushing the lane and not rotating. If I feel like, you know, my side lanes have more stuns, like my safe laners a Void or a Sven, maybe I'm going to look to rotate a bit more. But with a hero like Luna in the carry role, I just want to hold down the door. Hold the door in the mid lane. Give my support the lane. If I can take some stacks, you can call for your supports to make these stacks because Sniper loves them. Luna's going to end up taking the Ancient stack later. I know there's a bunch of carry players out there that are just getting super freaking triggered because they're like, oh, you're taking your carry stacks. That's not how it works nowadays, guys. Stacks are for anyone that can take them as early as possible because it's really important not to get them invaded and also give your supports that early injection of XP. So constantly playing around mid, constantly pressuring the tower. Puck's basically been glued here because if he leaves, then we just get the tower. And so we're going to go that early Dragonlance. Pretty much the double Wraithband or single Wraithband, depending on how much I'm right-clicking in lane. So against Puck, I was right-clicking a ton. Into the treads, Dragonlance. That's the standard part of the build that I've been doing every single game, and it's because of this. You get ganked, and you just don't freaking die because you have 1500 HP at 11 minutes into the game. And that's with a neutral item that doesn't even give us any HP. So when it comes to neutral items, I like either the sustain items or the right-click damage items. So either the Spark of Courage, the Glove of Haste thing, or the Leech Seeds or Bubbles. Those are the ones I really like on Sniper. I'm always going to fly myself a salve also if I don't have a regen item to top off, because I can't emphasize enough. Just walking aggressively on the opponent's side of the map behind your teammates. Notice how I kind of walked towards my teammates there. Then I secured rune. Then I see that my teammates are being aggressive, and I'm going to run up there to try to join because I have a haste. And we're going to do a little something crazy here, but it's all for the style points. As I get wrapped on by the enemy team, I'm going to run away to the side and TP out. And whoo, Matrix. Sorry, guys, I'm kidding. But we got out. And that's why without runes, it's very dangerous to gank a Sniper because you put yourself in a formation to get flanked. But with this in mind, notice how we're not even top net worth with how good of a start we have because our Whisper off lane's owning so hard. But this way of playing the game where we're basically going to sit around mid. You've seen my heat map basically be this. Non-stop. Securing runes when I can. That's pretty much the way Sniper gets played, other than maybe TPing to a gank or walking to a gank with a haste. And with this in mind, if this is the way you're playing, where it feels like your carry wants to chill right now, like if I have a Slark carry or a Ricky carry, something that's not so chill, wants to ramp up the pace of the game, then I'm going to go Ags next. And that's the distinction between the two builds, is this is where we branch off. Because I feel like people mess this up a lot. I'll be honest with you guys. I feel like I see Ags when I shouldn't see it, and I feel like I see Maelstrom when I shouldn't see it. It's a matter of the pace of the game. So I see that my Luna's basically playing some super chill Dota, Mask of Madness. He had a bit of a rough start. You notice how he's playing a bit of recovery. So I'm going to go for the Maelstrom in an attempt to keep doing what I'm doing now, but it lets me save shrapnel charges on camps. That's basically what Maelstrom allows you to do, so that you can have more shrapnels for fights while still farming and being more impactful by having more shrapnels. So I think of Maelstrom as, oh, I can now have like 2 or 3 shrapnels per fight rather than 1 or 2 because of the fact that I'm not having to use them to farm. Making sure that we kind of mirror our carry. So notice how our carry was playing bottom, so we were playing like Ancients and Big Camp. Now our carry's playing Ancients, so we're going to go towards bottom. Making sure as a sniper that you're trying not to grief your carry's farming patterns. That is super important. I know this is why a lot of you don't want me to sell this hero to people. Keep in mind, as snipers, sometimes you don't have options, especially if you didn't do very well in lane. But what's super important to note is that you still are a 2, and if you have options, please give your carry the farm on the map that they're choosing to get. So, get a nice kill. We're going to complete our Maelstrom off that. Notice how we're kind of like, Luna's not down here. We'll take this area. But notice how I'm always going to try to reconnect to my team, because having that melee guy with a blink or whoever your playmaker is, we want to just follow him around. Like, I TP'd there to help him get the kill on Tiny. Now I'm just going to walk around with this guy. Encourage this guy to play aggressively on the map because he's the one leading the charge and you're his follow-up. That is what sniper needs. And sometimes it's a bit frustrating to be the sniper because your teammates playing overly passive, which we're going to see in the next game, and sometimes it's frustrating to be the mag because your sniper is being overly passive. So find that guy that's supposed to play aggressive on the map and kind of be near him. Notice how we're going to clear a camp, but then we're just going to be chilling near the mag as much as possible. Then we're going to quickly clear waves, then look to reconnect to our team. And so unless we're in this formation of defend towers between bottom tier 2 and mid tier 1, we're following somebody aggressively. That's the 2 options we've got. That's the switch that we've got. So follow them around, play with this guy, give him kill potential, keep pushing in the mid lane, keep the pressure up, and allow for our blink guy to fish for kills, and we finish them off. So this game becomes a bit of a stomp, honestly, because off lane and mid lane won really hard. Luna had plenty of space to farm, but a lot of people think of Sniper as this guy that's supposed to, like, turtle. And if you have a good start on Sniper, running around aggressively with your team, making it so that you're an ungankable target and that they have tons of follow-up damage, this is absolutely essential to Sniper. So key items to consider are upgrading the Mjolnir, Hurricane Pike plus Shard are just super strong in order to keep you alive. So if you're having difficulties with heroes like Razor or like any other hero that tries to like stay on top of you and chase you down, which is a lot of them because that's what they have to end up doing against Sniper, and you're having a good start, just go for these defensive items because you do plenty of damage. Unless they are getting super early BKBs, your hero with headshot plus take aim being guaranteed headshots for 110 bonus damage, which like with Empower and Luna Ore, we're already hitting for 225 plus that damage. We don't need damage items, guys, right? We simply just need to be alive. So let's go ahead and check out the other replay. So in this game, we're raiding again, going to be doing the exact same thing, looking to use the big camp, but we're against a melee Pudge. So in this case, we're going to take headshot level 1 because he's low armor and we want to fuck with him. But there's going to be times where he's going to get denies because he just out damages us. We have 52 damage and he has 74. So it's going to be difficult to get those range creeps as you're seeing there. And even if we were to use headshot level 2, that 20 damage, like with take aim, then we're still sitting at about the same damage as he is. So against these melee guys with high damage, we're going to vary it up a little bit with the skill build. And rather than going for the, 0-2-2, we're going to take shrapnel immediately because it hurts to stand inside of this shrapnel. And even if they end up getting a few denies on us, which sucks early, we can basically zone them from creeps because they don't want to walk through the shrapnels as you're seeing and get the CS that way. So now you're going to see that we're going to employ the big camp stack a bit earlier. I just did it there, so we'll just rewind while not fast forwarding to make you see that boop, little bit of a 153 stack. And Pudge is actually going to notice this and he's going to start hooking the big camp. Now this is really annoying for me later on. You're going to see it. But in your games, I've had a few where they don't contest the big camp at all. And if you can get like a 3 or 4 stack and then farm it at 7 minutes for those neutrals, it's like a huge bolster to you and your team. So notice how Pudge walked over there and hooked my big camp. So we're going to see that, like, CS-wise, we're still doing solid, about even in this melee matchup. The thing about Sniper is, like, maybe he's not going to dominate every single matchup, but I feel like he goes about even because of the fact that he can either max shrapnel like this against melee guys, or he can max his take aim and headshot against the more ranged people because he can just out-harass them and out-CS them. So, constantly pushing the lane into the tower, taking the water runes so they don't get them all. Not really trying to interact with this guy because it just doesn't really benefit us. If a support were to ever rotate, the hook threat's really annoying. So in this type of matchup, we're incorporating the big camp much earlier than we were before because we're just going to play for our own farm rather than looking to focus to shut him down. Notice how we're trying to harass him with our shrapnel because he's forced to sit on top of the creep wave underneath his own tower. And in this case, Pudge is going to start moving, right? Pudge is level 6, slightly before us, even though we out-CS'd him by a bit. So he's going to start moving. And when you see the Pudge, like, walking through this ward here, the enemy mid ganking like this, or even if they're just missing. If we didn't see him, but he's just missing here, man, it is absolutely essential that you instantly shrapnel this wave and push it. Because we have the catapult, and we can't really counter-rotate very well on Sniper because we're super slow. We're also squishy and getting vulnerable to these ganks. So notice how in this matchup, since I wasn't hitting him very often, I didn't get the second Wraith Band, and I actually just went for Tread straight up, and I'm pushing the wave and forcing him to come back, looking to make sure he doesn't get a rune if possible. Unfortunately, we get unlucky there. But the best way to deal with these rotations is to just push. Push, push, push. I'm saving the shrapnel this time. I actually go for a Null Talisman because I'm expecting to spam some shrapnels. Null Talisman's kind of come in the meta as like the best mana regen item in the early game. So notice how much farm we're playing for here. Number 1 in the CS charts. Pretty standard Sniper stuff. Every time Pudge leaves here, we're thinking he might go bottom, and we're going to actually help our team because we're pretty strong here. And anything that's happening near your towers, I'm happy to do that for my team. Notice how that was happening near my towers. I have a stunning carry hero in the Sven, so I'm like, okay, there's a little more counterplay here. Not ideal that I died, but because we have max shrapnel, we can just go right back to what we were doing. We're going to recover from that, like right up back on the map, getting a kill. Anytime your supports come mid as Sniper, it feels super powerful. We saw it in the first game when we were ahead. We're seeing it now when it's more even. And just naturally taking that tower first is just so powerful in mid. I feel like in every patch, it's kind of gone down in the recent patches, meaning like it used to be way more powerful than it is now, but just having that mid tower gone, it just feels nice. And as Sniper, kind of seems like the case every time. Doing a little bit of efficiency here. My tree cock blocked me doing it on the other camp, so I'm going to do it here, where I'm just dragging these creeps into shrapneling both at the same time, because our main limitation for farm early is the shrapnel. Going to stack the Ancients for our Sven. Checking every rune. Notice how in both Sniper games, I'm constantly playing around mid, constantly checking the runes as long as I feel safe to do so. Absolutely essential that we're not against a hero like Storm that's going to close the gap on us really easily. It's like if you are against those heroes, you need to be much more cautious about checking runes. Notice how in this game, we're doing the same thing where we're hanging out with our team. We're walking aggressively on the map, hanging out with our team. So there's going to be something that happens in this game that makes me really frustrated, which is that my Slardar starts playing really passively on the map. Notice how he goes to the bottom half of the map. So the guy that we want to play with isn't really... We're not able to connect to him because Sniper is not an invade triangle kind of hero. Let's be very clear. The one thing I've not done in any of these games is walk into the enemy triangle, because that is not what Sniper does. Do not get jebaited. If you allow the opponent to flank you from any direction, Sniper feels really bad. So follow your teammates in aggressiveness, but really be cautious, if at all, when it comes to going to the enemy triangle. So in this case, like, the one play they make that's aggressive is into the enemy triangle. They feed our 3k lead back to about even, which is a bit frustrating. The enemy has a Luna, so she's going to be farming really fast. And so what ends up happening in this game is I wanted to go Ags because I'm thinking we have really aggressive lineup. We're going to be putting on the pressure with this Sven early to mid game, as well as the Slardar, because Sven's like a 2 or 3 item carry where he gets like Mask Command, his Echo Saber Blink, and he just runs at people. Unfortunately, we're going to feed like a freaking noob here. And the fact that my Slardar's down here was something that was really frustrating me. And I'm not trying to be a whiner, guys. At the end of the day, let's not be a whiner. This is what's happening. So sometimes in your pubs, especially, the lower MMR you go, your teammates are not going to play the way you want them to. And it's fine. I understand this guy had like an aggressive move that failed. He probably wants to recover, get his blink. But at the end of the day, if he's not being aggressive, the melee playmaker guy, then Sniper cannot be aggressive. And you saw what happened when I played on the enemy side of the map without my team. I fed like a noob. So we're learning from my mistakes. We're learning from my impatience. And we're talking about what I ended up doing in this game, which was I was going for Ags. And I was like, wait a minute. Based on what's happening in this game, I think I regret my decision to go Ags. And we're just going to chill. Like, I understand, like, I was frustrated, but I'm just going to chill, play for my own farm a bit. We can still outcarry them. Sniper's a solid late-game hero. Play for my own farm a bit with shrapnels. And notice how I'm going to actually, even though I bought this Blade of Alacrity, we're just going to go back for a Maelstrom and cut our losses. So, a lot of the Maelstrom versus Ags thing is all about pace of the game. I was gearing up for a much higher pace of the game based on the heroes that I have and the fact that we were winning. The game went kind of downhill. So I end up going back for the Maelstrom instead. We do get an Aegis, which is really nice. But at the end of the day, since you guys may not be having reliably aggressive teammates, the Maelstrom build might be the safest way to go. But I do feel like Ags is really solid on Sniper when you guys have Blink Burst, like Slardar and Sven, and you also don't really want to stand still right-clicking in fights because of heroes like Pudge and Earthshaker. So here's me being really impatient in the game. I die twice with the Aegis like a freaking noob. Notice how in the first game where I was really disciplined, I was pretty much only here unless I was with my team. And both times I've died is when I was not in this heat map with my team or with my team, not both. So notice how I died down here and I died up here without my team. So you're seeing a little bit of frustration for me, like no excuses. I was really frustrated because I felt like this game like was not going the way I planned and I'm fucking up because of it. And it's really great for these replays to show you guys just what happens if you don't do what I said to do in the first game, right? If you don't have the discipline that Sniper needs and the game gets a little bit nuts, because we need to make sure we're not feeding like this. I'm definitely griefing this game. So what's going to be cool about this game is that all it takes is like that one fight to kind of realign the game in our favor. So even though we're down by 5k, we can play aggressively with our teammates, have them walk into Techie's mines, keeping our distance as best we can, peeping them, dodging the hook. They've built a lot of blinks on Earthshaker as well as Pudge. Keeping our distance, keeping our distance. Game's going to get a little dicey, but as long as you have good positioning on Sniper, we can absolutely dish out a ton of damage. We're even going to buy back here. Try to kill the Luna and the Death Prophet because we were so, like, we needed this, right? We just needed this. So, if the fights are around your tower, be happy to TP, be happy to buy back. Like, nothing new here. We went for the Maelstrom, but now we do want the Ags because that low charge up time on the Ags makes it so you're just not standing still nearly as often. And because the game got a little weird and Pudge was buying a blink and Earthshaker's got his blink now, before we finish the Ags, we actually buy the Shard. So I really like Shard against these blink guys because they blink on top of you and then you suddenly create like 800 distance between you and them. And it's on a really low cooldown, low mana cost. The only thing about it is be careful if they have roots like in the other game with Puck. That's when the Ags is not as good because Ag Shard is not as good because of the fact that it can't be used when you're rooted. So this Pudge is kind of owning us with his hooks. Killed us top. Almost got us there, but we managed to TP out. And the big thing about Sniper is this is probably the situation you guys are more familiar with, which is like Sniper getting ran at, being kind of feedy, you know? But at the end of the day, this is what this Ag Shard build and the Ags do, and the Maelstrom Dragonlance. I'm pretty tanky, 1500 HP with the Shard, so I'm pretty survivable. The opponent overextends on me underneath a tower. We're actually positioned properly this time, and now the game suddenly flipped on its head. Be very careful of ever diving Sniper, guys. Only kill Sniper when he did what I did, which was be way out of position bottom and top lane. If you ever try to dive snipers like this, you will likely pay the price, whether it's high ground, whether it's mid lane. So now that, you know, almost all is right in the world, we're able to get our farm, play aggressively on the map with our team again. We are being more whiny and controlling about our Slardar please running with us. Wasn't really happening though. So We're going to try to get a kill here, try to get a good team fight here. The whole game, I'm just like, Slardar, please run in for me. All I need is to see. And we get some nice vision there. Notice that your ulti actually resets if you get a kill. So every time you get a kill, keep an eye out for having your ultimate again. And this game goes hugely in our favor. And the biggest thing about this is I did a ton of damage there, and I don't have any damage items other than Maelstrom. So I do end up going for Mjolnir after the Ags. I sometimes Gleipnir if they have like a super mobile dude like Storm or something that's jumping me. Otherwise, I like Mjolnir if they have Blink Dagger guys, because I'm just going to stand my ground after using Shard, and I just want to do as much damage in the take aim duration as possible. So that's how I differ between Mjolnir and Gleipnir. And as the game goes on, we're looking at items like Blink, Silver Edge, position-based, like survivability items to go along with this build, making sure they either can't initiate onto you, or that once they initiate onto you, you have reactionary items like the Shard, like the Hurricane Pike. This whole build is all about being difficult to burst, being a nuisance on the map, and if they don't kill you first, you will kill them. That's just Sniper in a nutshell. And so whatever items give you that, you know, you might go Lincoln sometimes, you might go Disperser if you need like the movement speed and the Dispel, you might go Satanic if you need to turn and man fight. All these things are worthwhile considering, but we're always going to try to follow our team into the fight. Notice how like our team goes first, we follow up, get a nice assassinate there. And easy game. So the game ends up ending right around there, but usually my items will always have a Mjolnir, Hurricane Pike, Ags, and then either like BKB, Silver Edge, Swift Blink, Disperser, Satanic. Those are the items we're looking at. Occasionally you'll go MKB if you need the True Strike against like a PA or a Wind Ranger or any hero with a butterfly like Luna. But the biggest thing is that you have those items that cover your own bases, and the way you look to like kind of get there is by playing this heat map that we talked about. I'm pretty much only picking Sniper on Radiant, guys. I really think it's that much better on Radiant than it is on Dire. And being careful of making these out-of-position mistakes that I made. And Sniper, I'm 4-0 with him this patch. Even in a game like this that got a little sloppy, it just feels like he wins most of his lanes. And he creates this space on the map by simply pressuring the tower and being a hero that protects towers and being difficult to gank and has counter-gank potential. So be a little bit more active on Sniper, guys. Don't just auto-assume your Sniper mid is griefing. I only go Ags plus Conda if I feel like we just need that extra bit of burst. The Conda is nice, but it doesn't really keep you alive. So, and I feel like the Ags ulti is nice most of the time without the Conda. So I'll just say I'm not a huge advocate for Sniper Conda. So in one of my earlier games, I had a Legion commander on my team. Sorry that she looks like Sven. So in this game, like I actually had a Conda queued up because all I wanted to do was be a Blink Ags Conda hero. So like the game ended way faster than it needed, like than I could even get to a Conda. But this is a game like that I would have gone Conda just to help burst somebody in duel, because Sniper at the end of the day can now be a +1 for getting kills. So Sniper has a lot of different ways that he can play. I really do believe that this hero gets kind of shit on as like a griefing mid, and a lot of people don't like playing against him or with him in lower MMRs. But Sniper's that guy that can follow around with his team, be really powerful in a unit, and also apply a lot of pressure if his teammates are nearby. So definitely try him out, guys. Huge advocate of Sniper mid in 7.35D. A lot of pro teams were even picking him during the last pro tournament. So it's not even like it's just me and it's just you heralds. You know, we got the curve where it's like the heralds and the pro players all think Sniper's good. Everyone else, not so much. So thank you so much for watching, guys. Like, comment, subscribe. See you guys next time.